Hey guys, Cthulhu here. So setting up a guide for you guys on basically how to get started. What do I do in Black Desert Online? Like what makes sense progression wise. So we're gonna sit and do this Garmoth planner out together, and it'll be step by step from I just started the game, I got my seasonal done, I've got all my gear done, and now I'm ready to play the game and figure out what's next. So we're going to start with the seasonal journey. So you're going to want to get your seasonal journey done. You want to get all your armors pen. You'll get a free Tuvala and earring and ring for a pen from just getting to 61. Um, so this is the basic setup that you should have by the time you're ready to graduate. And if you want to get your accessories like your belt and your neck, all you need is 20 stacks. Just click with 20s. They'll go eventually. You get more than enough materials just from the journey to get to this point. I haven't set up a crystal preset for that because we're going to get into crystals. We'll get into all that. So step one, this is where you want to be. All right. So you've done all this. You're at this point. You're like, okay, now I want to graduate. So when you graduate, your gear should look like this. Um, the first thing that changes is you're going to get the Kaposha ring and the Kaposha earring, and that's going to basically uh, replace the Tri Tuvala pieces because you don't need everything full pen. You can go for it if you need, but there's really no sense in it because the Kaposha is basically a pen Tuvala. And then you're going to get one free pen accessory. You're going to want to go ahead and get the Kaposha necklace because it gives you 5 AP, whereas the belt gives you 3, and a ring gives you 3, and the earring gives you 2. So this is by far the best piece to choose. And then you've got a free black star that's pen. So whichever one you do, we'll just say for argument's sake you're doing Awakening, but if you're not doing Awakening, you'd want to do um, Succession, your main hand weapon. So this is where you're going to be as soon as you graduate from the season and you convert your gear to whatever. So now you've got some choices into, okay, so where do you go from here? So once you're at this stage, you're going to get this from doing the Magnus quest line. That should be the very first pen armor you get. Um, and then after that, you're going to want to focus on getting your armor's pen, getting your Kudum pen, and then we're going to transition into Sovereign at some point here soon. So you want to get to about this bracket right here. This is what's next. So you've got all your armor's pen, you've got your Kudum pen, and it's okay, well now where do I want to go from here? So we'll clone this build. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to we'll say for argument's sake that you're playing um, Awakening. So you're going to want to get one of your weapons to deck to get another black star, and then you're going to just go ahead and slam them together to make your Sovereign Awakening weapon. So since we're hypothetically playing Awakening here, so that's a big AP gain. That puts you at 273 already. And then the next step is you're going to want to take everything, all your armors, once they're all pen, to C10. Right? Now that's a big jump, DP. So you're a 371, 273. So once you're at this point, you can start working on.
What up?
One sec. Doing a YouTube video. I'm gonna mute for a sec.
No worries.
All right. I'll be. Actually, it's fine. You can hang out, but it's just gonna be a lot of me talking to myself. So. All right. So once you get to this point, you would basically you have all your armor set up to where you can start working on your flames and upgrading those to Fallen God or whatever have you. And then for your weapons, those are kind of set for right now. There's really no reason to focus on Pen Black Star offhand until later, and we'll get into why. So this is kind of where you want to be. So now we'll go to the next build. So we're going to start working on getting our stuff to Duo. That's like that's where you want to get your boss armors, is to Duo, once you get them upgraded to Fallen God tier. Okay, so now you've got all your armors Duo, and you're kind of in this position, well, where do I make gains now? So we're going to want to start working towards getting our Karazads. And it's very, very easy and cheap to get them all to pen. So that's kind of where we're going right now. as we're going to get that there. It's going to take you time, but by this gear score, when you're 273 or whatever, you're going to be going to Honglin base and just like straight blasting Essence of Dawn as much as possible to get all this made. So now you can see, and getting Tet Sovereign is very easy. Very, very easy, by the way, chat. So now you can see you're 306, 395. You're on the door 700 gear score, which is good progress. I would say at this step, or the step before it, now with the Bartali logs change, you're going to want to just do your Bartali, and that's going to give you all your shit. Because you get all the logs pretty soon, all the AP and DP, just by having your Bartali done. So that's this stage right here, where you're on 600 gear score, is a good spot to do that. It doesn't take that long. The important thing to know about doing Igor Bartali is you want to not miss Nuver and not miss Kudum, because those are what gates you behind a wait, quote unquote, to finish Igor Bartali, because it can be done in a day. It can be very easily done in a day if you do Kudums and Nuvers ahead of time and you get the materials you need to progress. So now you're here, you're 404 DP, 315 AP. Where do you go from here? Well, it's really, really simple. So we'll clone this. So now the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to get our Black Star offhand pen. That's a big jump. Okay? And then we'll say, for argument's sake, well, no. Eventually you'll want to get this pen, but it's not the highest priority. So we'll just say you upgrade to a Tet Black Star. Or you have the Tet Black Star there, and that's fine. Your free Garmoth Heart is definitely, you're going to want to put it into the Sovereign for the crystal slots for sure. Or yeah, you definitely want it unawakened, even if you're not playing Awakened, simply because you get the crystal slots and they're very, very impactful. So now that you're at this point of the game, you're going to want to get rid of these and you're going to want to transition into Kabuas. And this triple predation iridescent lightstone setup on extra AP versus monsters is really, really good early. But eventually you're going to want to upgrade to strikes times 2 and then rage. Okay. And then your Vel's Heart as well at this point, because it's worth, because it hits you. It puts you. This will put you exactly on the 323 bracket. And it's not that much of an investment. It's about 8 bill. About the same as your Kabua artifacts. So at this point, you're kind of doing that. And now you're on the door. Oh, what did I mess up? Oh, I didn't mess anything up. Okay. What happened? Oh, okay. Mouse wheel. Mouse wheel cucked me. Then you want to focus on upgrading your Vel's Heart through Calpheon Alvia for the extra 4 DP. So now you're at 721 gear score, 414 DP. Really solid point to be at. What happened to our AP? Why is it so low? Oh. Okay. There we go. And this is the crystal setup you're going to want to use. It's pretty expensive. It's about a 12 billion investment, but at this point you're kind of transitioning towards the mid to end game spots. So it's definitely worth the investment in your crystals at this point. And then where you go from here is very simple. So at this point it becomes kind of a roulette of, okay, I want to get my pen Black Star main hand, and then I want to turn it into a Sovereign. And you want to get those to Tet, right? For argument's sake, we're not going to put the offhand in yet because it's going to take you so long to get to the point where you get the offhand in. So now that's done. Alright, so I'm going to hex my neck for 2 extra AP. That's going to put us at 325. And then our next step from this point forward is try armors across the board. Alright, so 426 DP, 750 gear score. This is a very solid point to be at. So now we're going to want to work on pen on those. And then we're going to start hexing all of our accessories. And this is kind of more or less how it progresses. You're kind of just like, all right, work on armor, work on AP, and you're kind of piggybacking forth. So this is a really, really, really solid spot to be at. And then now we're going to get into the quote-unquote end game. So you're going to want Tet boss armors, which gives you another 12 DP. and that's pretty much soft cap DP is 438. You can get higher. The new sovereign offhand, which by the time you get to that point, we're going to be there, but I can't put it in here for because Garmuth doesn't have it yet. So once you're at this point, you've got everything pretty much min-maxed. So now it's just like, okay, I'm going to push for hex on that, so I'm at 332 on all of that. And then, you start pushing your accessories again. And then that's just kind of it. At this point, you're like just working on things incrementally, one thing at a time. And that's kind of more or less the road to 800 gear scores. Work on sovereigns, work on Karazads. Your boss armors, I would not recommend clicking anything to pen Fallen God tier until you have your stuff at deck. So we'll just say, okay, we're at that point now, boys, where we're Giga Chad, we're very, very geared, and you're looking to take the next steps. Like, it's going to take you so long to get to this point. At this point, this is the only spot where it makes sense to start clicking. What did I just do? Yeah. So at this point, you're kind of like, okay, now I can click Fallen Gods. But this is basically the TLDR version of step by step. So season start, season graduation, progression to full pen armors. Okay, you get everything to C10. Now you get everything to Duo without pen, Karazad accessories. This is a very good spot to be in. At this point, honestly, I'd recommend switching to Kabuas. This is where I'd switch to it because it's a massive amount of damage reduction and damage as well, and as well as HP. Like, they're just really, really good to have. The stamina is nice, but may not always necessarily be relevant based on what class you're playing. It just depends. Vel's Heart's good here too. We'll just get that. Yep. Yep. So this is kind of it. Like, this is what you want to initially aim for when you first start. Like when you get to 700 gear score, this is kind of where you want to be around 720 gear score is in this situation right here. And then obviously the rest, we've gone over. So that's pretty much it. There are some things to keep in mind while you're progressing. So some notes that we can put in. All right, on to step 2. So what we're going to be doing now is we're going to just make like an itemized list that you want to have like in your head while you're progressing your gear. So these are just some really important notes. Never sell Kafras, memory fragments, sharps, or use artisans on anything that isn't impacting gains. So this is really important. Don't ever want to forget that. So step 2 is, and this is really important, stay in grind spots that are optimized for where your gear is at. So what I mean by that is we're going to get into monster AP caps, DP caps for monster zone info. Really important because you don't want to like try to get to a new area that you're not quite ready for too early because of the crystal breakage. If you make 700 mil an hour and you break a 400 mil crystal grinding there, it's you've already cut your money in half. So it's really important you kind of stay in your lane and just focus on optimizing the areas that you're at. Step 3, where do I grind to get from Tuvala, Pen, Season, Grad to Endgame? And this is really easy. Really, really easy, chat. So it's simple. The first spot you're going to start on seasonal for grinding is you're going to want to do Centaurs, Road Sulfur, because it's about 700-800 mil an hour if you do it optimized. You can get more, but that's about the ballpark of what you want to hit. The next area you're going to want to go to when you graduate, you can do Histria, which is about 700-800 mil an hour, Stars End, or ideally Sakraya. If you don't want to do that route and you want to start working on your cups and progressing your accessory enhancements, which is something we didn't really get into, but it's something that you should do in the mid tier, the early mid tier, is you're going to want to do. Well, actually, no, all that doesn't do. Swamp Fogans, 100%. Elvia, or it's sorry, let me be more specific. Elvia Swamp Fogans, Orcs, super duper important. We can even put Biragi Den here for season grad grind spot. 600 plus GS to 650. 630. 630. From there, you're going to want to go to Sonil Camp, Elvia Calpheon. That's what's going to help you progress your Vel's Heart, get your Exalted Vel's Heart, all that. And it's good money an hour. It's about a bill an hour. Vel's augments are done. Now from here, you should be about 650 gear score. And then, ideally, you're going to want to go to Honglin Base. And you're going to stay at Honglin Base till 680 plus GS. Then from there, you can go to Gyphon Underground, Hex, till 710 gear score. You can still stay at Honglin at this point if you choose, but I would highly recommend staying in Gyphon or Hex. Because at this point, you should have your Charizard accessories, and you can just simply pre-order Essence of Dawn, and you're going to get more experience and make more money in this spot because it's less RNG than it is at Honglin. Now, once you get to that point, it's Troll Habitat. 710 to 730. Then from there, you can do Highlands, Ulakutia, or Toongrad Ruins. And then from there, it's DSR till basically 780 plus. And then you can start looking at Orzeka. And that's kind of more or less, this is like your roadmap from starting season, getting geared. I mean, I guess we'll throw in an extra step. For seasonal grind, to finish graduate, Polly's Forest, or Centaurs. Super solid. And this is basically the TLDR. Now some bonus stuff that you can try to do along the way that's going to help speed up your progression. AFK fishing, or horse training, farming, because these are all basically AFK or mostly AFK. Farming isn't really, it's just something you do when you log in and before you log out. It's very simple to get into. Not that much investments required for it to at least be profitable, and you'll be making money when you're not actively playing the game, which may not seem like much at first. You might make like 300, 400 mil a night fishing, but over time, it's going to add up quite a bit, and utilizing that stuff is going to matter a lot. You're going to need 100 CP for farm to buy the strong fences in Heidel from the materials vendor, I believe is the NPC that sells it. So then the other thing, too, that we're going to take into consideration is I don't want to grind this whole time. I don't want it to be a chore. It's very important that you understand it's a marathon, not a race. So, don't burn yourself out. Play what's fun. Don't worry about the meta. Because whatever you're grinding on and you're enjoying is going to help you get to your goals. Because if you're constantly re-rolling and you're not enjoying what you're playing, you're not going to be very interested in the game, and then everything we just outlined here in this whole video is basically going to be pointless because you're not going to have the mindset that you want to play, you know. And it's important that you don't put yourself in that situation. Um, Another point that's important to think about. Oh, check garmoth.com for redeemable rewards. Absolutely super duper important. Um, they're giving away stuff all the time, and every little thing matters. Um, in terms of fail stacking and what stacks you need to enhance your gear, there is a system in place now that when you go to enhance something, it has averages based on what people usually get successful clicks on. You pretty much just want to follow that to the letter. Overstacking isn't necessarily bad. It's just something that you want to be conscientious of. Like if you have next to no stacks and you're overstacking for gains that you don't need to, it's almost always better to just do the median or maybe a little under the median and keep your higher stacks for later because it's very easy to use stacks that are way higher than what you need and get rewards, and then you get to the point where you're ready to progress to the next thing and you don't have what you need to do it. But that's where grinding, Toongrad Ruins, and DSR is really going to come in, as well as Honglum, because it's basically going to give you the means to raise your fail stacks up. So super duper important. Um, I've been playing this game since 2016. I did take a break when Cacao sold the rights back to Pearl Abyss, so I lost that account and had to start completely over at the beginning of 2023. It was around January, I think, is when I restarted the game, and it really doesn't take that long. It just depends on how consistent you play. Um, Other thing to keep in mind while you're on this journey is tag what's fun. If you're bored, try something different. Tag system is an amazing feature of this game. It will, if you're getting tired of doing the same thing, playing the same class in the same spot, just playing a different class, even in the same spot, will breathe new life into the game. So, important that you utilize the tag system. EXP is shared across the tag system. So essentially, you can really you have a lot of options in terms of how you want to progress and keep the game fun. So it's not something that you want to ignore. Uh, let's see. Did I miss anything? Oh yes, cup grind. I think that pretty much nails the gist of the important things. Wow, my typing there is terrible. I don't think I missed anything necessarily with this outline, but the only thing I would say is once you go down the Sovereign road, you're making a commitment to which style of play you want, whether it be Succession or Awakening. Once you go down that road, there's really no going back. So take a lot of time and think about which Sovereign weapon you want to make. If you decide that you want to be able to play both, don't make a Sovereign and just take one Pen Black Star, make it your main hand. Take the other Pen Black Star, make it your Awakening. That's going to make getting to the end game spots a little slower, but it's going to give you more flexibility to play in the mid range, and the mid range takes a pretty long time. So, something to think about. World bosses, Garmoth always, every time till you have your 3 hearts. Vel always until you have Vel's heart. You can still do these even if you don't necessarily need them because there's a chance that it's profitable, but it's just something that you want to get into. And if you want to go to Vel, all you got to do is just hop in my Discord or hop in my stream, and I would be more than happy to. Whenever it's about to spawn, I always ferry people to Vel, so not an issue. If you're looking to go to Vel and you have a chance to get your Vel's heart, I would recommend making a new alt specifically to leave out there because then you can just join a plat on your server, and the participation is platoon based, not individual based, so you can just be AFK the whole time and still get the rewards. So super duper important. Um, I can't think of anything that I missed. I just think that the thing that's going to make the most sense for you guys is just following this with the Garmoth gear that we went over to the letter. Um, in terms of crystal setups and stuff like that, we kind of went over what was good. 2 Rebellious, 2 Decimations, 2 Precise Destructions, 4 Ultimate Max, 2 Corrupted or 2 Mysterious Darkness, depending on crit or back attack. It just depends on the spot. A Stalwart, the item drop rate tier, and then 2 Glorious Akrods. Very, very, very important crystal setup for when you're 700 plus gear score and you really want to min max the juice in the spots. Other than that, I think that pretty much covers everything. So we're going to go over a brief summation now, guys. All right, chat. So in summation, we've gone over the gear that you need, the crystals that you need, the lightstone and artifact setup that you need, and just an overall idea of how to progress your gear in Black Desert Online, starting from seasonal to now. Um, it's it's really not that hard. This game does not explain itself very well. Garmoth has some excellent guides, as well as BDO Cricket and BDO Codex. They have some pretty solid guides in terms of like the little nitty gritty specific stuff that we just simply don't have the time to go over every little thing. You guys, if you have questions, you guys are welcome to also come into stream or ask them here in the comment section on YouTube, or as well as join the community Discord, which is by far the fastest way to get a hold of somebody. There are a lot of knowledgeable players in there, as well as myself, that are more than happy to answer your questions and kind of shine a light on you on a game that does not explain itself very well. Um, that being said, thank you so much, you guys, for your support. We just recently got our sub button yesterday, and we got 28 subs our first day. So, really, really exciting stuff. Thank you guys so much for your support and everything that you're doing. It really, really means a lot. Um, if you guys could take a moment and like the video and leave a subscribe, that would really, really go a long way, and I'd be very, very grateful for it. But hopefully, you guys can catch me here, because I'll be plenty more content coming out. I've got tons of ideas for videos, so I'll be working on that this week. And I also stream 8 a.m. to noon every single day on Twitch, except for Sundays because of Sabbath and such. But I will see you guys next time. If you have any questions or if you like the video, just be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Have a great day.